And there's no doubt here that tension is rising, anticipation is high before we go racing.
And Oksana Masters, that's that factor of 100%. We'll talk you through that as the events unfold. But according to their classification and their trunk function, they'll have their time adjusted so that it levels the playing field, if you will. The more able athletes, all of their time counts. But for those with a lower trunk function, their time will be adjusted to give a more meaningful and a more level outcome. And so in this category, we have athletes up to 12, LW12, and as low as 10.5. And Anja Vicker, who was on screen a few moments ago, she's a 10.5.
Yeah, that's Kendall Gretsch at 11.5, a triathlon gold medalist in a thrilling sprint from behind finish in Tokyo last year. And that's a Polish athlete. That's Monika Kukla, and LW12 para biathlete, the 25-year-old from Poland. So 11 in the start gate to get us underway. It's Xu Beibei, the 33-year-old from China. So our first racer out of the gate then, and the program is on here in Para Biathlon at these 2022 Winter Paralympic Games. It is Xu Beibei at 33. She's the oldest athlete in this race, a year older than Oksana Masters, 8th in the sprint this event in Pyeongchang. So 30-second intervals. Next up is Kukla.
And Monika Kukla, 25 years of age, 10th in the sprint at the World Championships last year. And like many of the competitors here, enjoys other sports. She's also been in rowing and cycling and athletics. And away she goes. We're trying to take some time out of the athlete in front of her.
Lena Dudalin, next to go at 18. She is the youngest in the field. Born in the Russian Federation and now lives in San Diego, wearing bib 3 for the United States, one of 3 American athletes in this race.
Anastasia Leletina. Factor of 87%. You see, she sits a little lower in the sit ski, which indicates a lower level of trunk function. So an 87% adjustment for her eventual time. And Leletina, just 19 years of age, had a couple of good results in cross-country events.
So wearing bib 5 then, this is Wang Shiyu, 22 from Shenyang. It's an emotional milestone, really, these Winter Paralympic Games for the Chinese, 20 years on from the first time they put a team in the Para Biathlon. That was at the Salt Lake City 2 decades ago now. Goodness me, makes you feel old, doesn't it? Wang next to go.
Christina Picton, a 28-year-old Canadian from Canmore, Alberta. In fact, a lot of the Canadian biathletes based in Canmore. She's played sledge hockey for Canada. Well, it's the #1 sport in Canada, isn't it? They do love their hockey, and we're of course talking ice hockey. They don't even give it a pre-name. It's just ice hockey, and it's just hockey.
Shy for China. So 4 Chinese in this race. Zhai is 21 years of age. They've been training hard and heavy up in Heilongjiang province at the Mundanjiang facility. They're trying to get their para biathletes competitive for the racing here. So Zhai in the race, and she will be followed by her compatriot Shan.
So Shan Yilin from Hebei province just loves the feeling of being on the snow and skiing. Skiing is fun, she says. Did compete at the 2017 World Championships. Now that they've got these marvelous facilities, we should expect a lot more Chinese athletes to come through in all the sports here.
So no Kendall Gretsch at the recent World Champs. That paved the way for this athlete, Anja Vicker, to win the World Championship title over the sprint distance. The 30-year-old from Stuttgart, can she get amongst the Americans, Masters and Gretsch at the tail end of this race? A formidable campaigner is Anja Vicker, two-time World Championship gold medalist, and she's had plenty of success in the cross-country ski as well.
Out on the course, Chu negotiating a tricky tight left-hander as makes her way back down, but this is Oksana Masters, the 32-year-old born in Ukraine, so really mixed emotions, mixed allegiances perhaps, but of course skiing for the USA, and has competed so successfully across multiple sports, summer and winter.
And wearing bib 11, last to go, the defending champion from Pyeongchang 4 years ago. It is Kendall Gretsch. Absolutely brilliant athlete all round, 29 years of age. Gretsch, and at the Tokyo Paras last year, Gretsch won gold in the triathlon. A brilliant, thrilling sprint from behind finish. And Gretsch will be amongst the favourites here to get another gold medal.
Really the athlete's choice whether to use the tracks or use the flat snow beside, as Dodeline comes through the 1 kilometre checkpoint, and 4:02.2 of Chu is the time to keep your eye on. These inclines, hard work on the shoulders. Just got to keep your form, keep out of trouble really, and keep an eye on the athlete in front. Try and take meters out of them.
Yeah, everyone out racing now on the snow, and the sun is beating down brightly here. It's just past 10 a.m. local time. Perhaps a day for the goggles, but that's Wang, not wearing any, the 22-year-old from China.
Negotiated that turn very neatly. She's in good form and giving it plenty early, and tucks in. Let's lower the wind resistance, of course, as through comes Picton on the left.
So this is a 6-kilometre race. 3 laps of the 2-kilometre circuit. Spectacular facility that they've constructed here at Zhangjiakou, hosting the biathlon events in the recent Winter Olympic Games. And here, of course, the Paras, a challenge for Picton there, that tight left-hander.
Into the range for the first time, our first athlete, Chu. And you'll see how it's done here. The assistants provide the rifle. Into the prone position goes Chu. And 5 rounds, leaving the stocks attached. Get herself settled, and hope she gets 5 from 5. There's a penalty loop awaiting for any misses.
Yeah, 5 metal targets, 10 meters away from the shooter. The sitting skiers and standing skiers aim at independently operating drop-down targets, 13 millimeters in diameter.
Gets the second, missed the first. That's 2 misses there. You'll see a few quick breaths and then try and steady the diaphragm. Oh gosh, that's another 300 meters she has to ski. That's a disappointing first visit. You just see how races hinge on these moments in the range.
Completely. It's what makes the para-biathlon and biathlon so fascinating, this marrying of the two different types of technique, getting into the range and just lowering the heart rate.
Kukla, one of the lefties. Well, maybe it's the wind, because to miss 2 straight up is unusual. The athletes have been in the range prior to the race, zeroing and getting used to the conditions. Oh my goodness, this is a disastrous start for Kukla.
Now that's an extra 400 metres, so 100-metre penalty loop per missed shot for the sitting athletes. That's compared to 150 for standing athletes. And now we see all of our starters coming into their first shoot. So next in is Wang here. Good start, 3 from 3.
Well done. And just to remind you, this isn't first across the line. This is a timed event after the interval start. So it's the winning time, not first across the line. So Wang heads out with no loops to do.
And so that was Derdeline, the youngster, the 18-year-old.
So the flags all around, quite busy. And the little red tails in the range itself. Oh, some of them at horizontal. Zhai now of China. Try and replicate the effort of Wang, who's racing around this course. Five quick breaths and settles. They really have their own pattern. Varies from athlete to athlete. This is very high altitude for biathlon, 1,600 meters or so, and in World Cup events they're usually down around 900 meters. So the air is thin, and they say the snow is slow, so it's doubly difficult. And throw in the wind, and this is a tough day. It's what they've been training for, waiting for. This is Masters.
Yeah.
And gets the lot, no surprise.
Absolutely, Oksana Masters hitting par, really. That's the kind of performance she expects in the range, and up and out quickly. And back into the race, Oksana Masters. No penalty loops there. But it's Shan, Wang and Zhai. China 1, 2 and 3 at present. Expect, of course, things to level out the deeper we get into this race, as Anja Wickert misses her first shot, the world champion.
Really, the time between rounds is also crucial. Gets a couple away quickly. Oh, 2 misses for Wickert.
Yeah, it's an extra 200 meters. That's a big deal for the world champ.
Shooting at the same time was Kendall Gretsch, and she hasn't had a miss, so that's very encouraging for the 2 Americans. Masters and Gretsch will be after another 1-2. They're getting some stiff competition today from Wang. Shan also in the frame. 11 seconds behind Masters, so it's Masters ahead of Gretsch at this stage, and Gretsch with a slightly factored time of 96%.
Well, concentrating on your own race and all that, but Anja Wickert will already be wondering if Masters and Gretsch can do her a favour in the second visit to the shooting range, because that a double penalty, really, the 200 extra meters that the world champ needs to ski, is going to take it out of her. So that's a real problem for the world champion from Germany, Anja Wicker. Masters and Gretsch, 1 and 2 for the United States at present. This is going to form, really. We knew the Americans would be strong. Can China pull a surprise?
Well, that's 2 of them there, Wang in 5 and Chu in 1, and I think that's the word, that's the expression. You need others to do you a favour. If you find yourself behind, it's very hard to catch up too many seconds out on the course. As you say, it's won and lost in the range. And then you start to rely on others to miss. Might be a favour they've done you, but they don't feel that themselves as they go into a tight left-hander. And then one of the descents. There's a height difference of 22 meters around this course, a maximum climb of around 7 meters. And the total climbs, if you add them together, 44 meters. And each lap just under the 2 kilometers at 1,982 meters.
So Shan and Wang, we're at mid-race distance now. Then Chu currently in 3rd place, but Masters and Gretsch are hot on the heels. Then it's Shai and Anja Wicker way down the order. Durderlein, Laletina and Kukla, who had that disastrous first visit to the range with those 4 misses. Well, props up the pack at the moment.
So Shan is really the joker in the pack here. Coming into these games, China with just 1 medal from 4 years ago. That was gold in curling, and they really have no great history in biathlon. Certainly Chu had a top 10 finish 4 years ago at Masters, now back into top spot by 13.5 seconds. These checkpoints around the course are a big assistance for us. You see how they have to lean hard into the corner, keep their balance. You know, a tumble is really costly.
Durderlein, there, the 3rd American, if you will, after the more fancied Masters. And Gretsch, there's the tuck, trying to pick up a bit of speed on the incline. Beg your pardon, that was Masters, wasn't it, with 10 on the bib. So, our leader, Oksana Masters.
Coming up alongside Kukla, who was out 2nd and Masters 10th, so that gives you an idea of how much time she's made up. But Kukla, of course, had the 4 misses, so skied an extra couple of 100 meters, or 400 meters, in fact. In a 6K race, that's a chunky percentage that you're having to do extra. Now, Wang coming in. She gets these 5. She's really in a position to perhaps snag a medal. It's obviously worth taking that extra second or 3 rather than do the penalty loop. Not
Brilliant
quick, but
shooting.
straight. Yes,
fantastic.
Getting it done. Well, let's see how she goes around this final lap.
Wonder Wang, no missing from the Chinese para-biathlete here. And up and away after her 2nd visit to the range. Now, what can Chu do?
Much better. After 3 misses on the first visit, Chu gets the lot. And that'll give us some encouragement on this final lap. And speaking of the altitude and the thinner air, even that's a challenge at the range, where they're trying to take those deep breaths, then stop breathing while they shoot. If they can't find the right angle of attack, then they're holding their breath for longer. understanding that the oxygen just sort of disappears from the body, and it takes quite some managing. Now Masters. Can't miss. Must not miss for her medal chances.
Perfect in the first visit to the range.
It's great drama, isn't it? You don't need to say anything, just watch. The targets drop. How's the athlete going? Watch the chest moving, stopping. It's a wonderful sport to watch.
It really is. And then from that prone position, up and racing again, power through the arms, the poles into the snow. And it's going to take something really spectacular to deny Masters. Maybe Kendall Gretsch can do exactly that. Also clean in her first visit to the range. Cannot afford to miss, to keep the pressure on her a great friend and indeed idol. There's a lot made of just how much Kendall Gretsch admires Oksana Masters, and here she is taking aim.
So Gretsch 4 years ago won it by just over 20 seconds from Masters, and a miss.
Ooh.
Costly. Well, got the last couple away quickly, save a couple of seconds there, but unfortunately there's a penalty loop to be done by Gretsch. Could be a reversal of fortunes from 4 years ago. Still got some serious skiing to do, though.
That is the way it's looking at present, isn't it? With the ground to make up on Oksana Masters, plus the extra 100 meters in that dreaded penalty loop. So Oksana Masters to silvers in Pyeongchang, up in the mountains of Alpensia 4 years ago in Para Biathlon. She won a pair of golds in the cross-country, para cross-country in Pyeongchang. And of course in the summer Paralympic Games as well. Para rowing a decade ago in London, and 2 para cycling golds last a year in Tokyo. Quite spectacular. This is Kukla, 4 misses in the first visit to the range, and then 2 in the second. So an extra 600 meters on top of what she's required to complete anyway in terms of race distance. That's a big disappointment for the pole.
Yeah, that's an extra 10% adding to race distance for her, and that's how crucial it is to be on top of both sides of this sport, the skiing and the shooting. Masters, Shan and Gretsch, USA, China, USA. Can this be the first medal of the Games for the host nation, and the first in Nordic skiing? Certainly got herself in position to do it. The 2 Americans doing as expected, featuring at the top of the leaderboard, Masters and Gretsch, but they've got some fierce company. Shan and Wang doing it nicely for China.
Yeah, and helped as well by their calmness in the shoot. Shan and Wang, no misses between them. And Chu with a decent ski, but her 3 misses in the first visit to the range has undermined her progress. You're watching the athlete that we expect to come in. There are still variables, and plenty of them, in between now and the end of this race. It's a kilometre to go, but it's looking very good for Oksana Masters. This is where it starts to burn and hurt.
Now, the 32-year-old has done hundreds, probably thousands of kilometres in training. Of course she has, and in various sports to, I don't know, to keep her interest in competitive sport. Mix it up. Cycling, rowing. And will it be the first medal of the Games for the United States? The USA topped the medal table in Pyeongchang. They'll be expecting to get their share in the Nordic skiing, men and women. So Masters won't be the first to finish, but she may have the quickest time. Zhai 2.5 minutes behind the time of Masters coming through this checkpoint. Zhai Yushin.
Yeah, Masters Shan, Wang and Chu, but the Gretsch is going to move up into the conversation too. Still a terrific showing here from our Chinese the biathletes. Shan and Wang, absolutely superb. But even Zhai with just the one miss.
Well, Chu here for China, after 3 misses at the first stop, got 5 out of 5 with the second, and will be coming down to the line. She had an 8th in Pyeongchang and could well finish higher at these games. And now coming into view, Oksana Masters has cleaned up the field here. She's been so quick, so efficient. And she's on the heels of Chu Bei.
Yeah.
This could be a very impressive first outing for her.
Completely. And by the way, Anja Wicker, absolutely nowhere, the world champion from Germany. She actually beat Oksana the Masters in that sprint event in Lillehammer just 8 weeks or so ago.
The winning time 4 years ago for Gretsch, 21 minutes 52. And she's got to get inside Shan's 21.06. It's coming down to the line. She's certainly going to do that, not by too much. But here is now the time to beat, 20:51.2.
Oksana Masters, an absolutely fantastic performance. Quick in the ski and clean in the range, and she is spent. Looking like a gold medal display.
She likes it. She has a look at the big screen to see where everyone else is. It's joy, relief, pride. And as you say, they've left nothing out there.
She likes it. She really does.
But I think she knows now she can't be beaten. That's the feeling she has. We'll wait.
So Shan, Wang, Picton moving up as well.
This could be an historic moment for China.
Yeah, it really could. It's been a fabulous display. Much has been made of their intensive Nordic training up at the Mundenjang facility.
Well, here's the time that matters. In comes Kendall Gretsch. And she's going to surrender second position now. And 22.22 for Wang. We've got Shan in second place at the moment. And you just see how much it hurt Gretsch to have that one miss, that extra 100 metres.
That's all it takes, isn't it? That's all it takes, a single miss in the range when your great rival shoots clean.
So it looks like a third position for her. She's still got a few seconds to get there ahead of Wang's time of 22.22. But she's well outside Masters. Shan in second place at the moment. In she comes in third, Kendall Gretsch.
Well, that crucial miss undermined her. It meant she had to ski extra distance with all the energy that takes out of you, in addition to what's required in terms of the 6 kilometre ski anyway. So Masters, Shan and Gretsch down into 3rd place at present.
China with 3 in the top 5 at the moment. But it looks to be a victory for Oksana Masters. Wait for the official standings, of course, but incoming now is Kukla of Poland. Had some troubles with the rifle. A total of 6 misses. We had 4 athletes come through with 10 out of 10. Masters, Shan, Wang and Picton of Canada.
Yeah, so Shan and this is Kukla, the 25-year-old. 6 misses all told. And, well, that ruined any chance, really, of being competitive at the front end of this contest. This women's sprint sitting event in the Parabiathlon at Beijing 2022.
Kukla coming down in just under the half hour. Almost 8.5 minutes behind Masters. So some work to do with the rifle, perhaps. Make a huge difference to her placing and time. Here's Vicker. And the German pushing hard. She had 3 misses.
Yeah, not panned out the way she would have wanted. There's extra 300 meters for Anja Vicker, and it hasn't happened for her as it did at the recent Lillehammer World Champs. It was a right old sprint finish, that, Vicker and Masters in that event in Norway earlier this year.
She's been to 6 World Championships, and at 30 is well positioned to keep going and chalk up some more good results. Vicker is going to be just outside the medals in 5th.
Yep, still Oksana Masters. They're letting it to come in, but we know our medalists, and fantastic performance by the Chinese in this event.
Well, a tearful Masters. Of course, born in Ukraine, representing the United States. What might she be feeling?
And what a 6 months it's been for her. Just hours after that last race in Tokyo, already changing up the workouts and preparing for the transition for cycling to skiing. And here, a brilliant gold medal to get the para biathlon up and running here at Beijing 2022 after those 2 silvers 4 years ago in Pyeongchang and the 2 golds in para cross country in Korea Republic. Oksana Masters is a Winter Paralympic champion in the para biathlon. Masters, the master, undisputed.
Just so you know, Oksana's about to ask you if she needs to go to the finish. But you were too fast. You were already in the finish zone when I saw you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, sorry. Can I hand you that?
Still in a state of disbelief, it seems.
Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm, baby.
And what about this?
Yeah.
Shan, the 20-year-old from China, a quite extraordinary and magnificent silver medal for the host nation. Clean in the chute and a fabulous ski as well.
So Masters, well, the winner today in this field had to shoot clean, and she did. But she's got the endurance, she's got the technique, She's got the experience. I just feel there's a massive outpouring of mixed emotions. You know, the build up to these games.
Please come here. If you are able, of course, can you help her? Just stand up.
That's for certain, I think.
It's being requested for possibly some interviews or some photos.
And of course, no wonder. The upgrade from the silver in Pyeongchang. And now it's a medal won at another Winter Paralympic Games. She won a silver and a bronze in cross-country skiing in Sochi 8 years ago as well, did Oksana Masters. And Laletina comes in last place here, the 19-year-old Ukrainian.
Good to see all 11 starters finishing the race.
I say last place, she's our last finisher. But of course, with the factored time, she's going to beat Kukla's mark. So Laletina comes in 10th place. And that is our last finisher in the women's sprint sitting category. The first race to begin the Parabiathlon here at the 2022 Winter Paralympic Games. Masters was magisterial, and it's a magical gold medal for the American.
There it is then, Oksana Masters in 20 minutes 51.2, and Shan Yilin not far behind, and that is an historic medal in this discipline for China. And third to Kendall Gretsch, US 1 and 3, China second, Chu Beibei another 8th place as she had 4 years ago. So sunny skies at Zhangjiakou. Things getting readiness for the first of the men's events. Men's sprint. In the sitting category. Shouldn't be far away. So some quick adjustments being made. I think this is to recognise athletes. So we're just getting bibs correct. This is what we're calling a recognition ceremony to pull together our place getters in the first event, the women's sprint sitting.
Yeah, no surprise to see those two Americans, Masters and Gretsch, in amongst. And on the podium, Kendall Gretsch with the bronze medal. She was the champion in Pyeongchang 4 years ago. It was a great battle again with her friend and teammate Oksana Masters, but the big story surely is the 20-year-old Shan Yi-Lin, who wins a sensational, a superb silver medal for the host nation China. And then the Grand Dame, if you like, Oksana Masters, multi-talented athlete, whether in the Summer Paralympic Games or the Winters. Oksana Masters has another gold medal.
Big expectations on her from her nation and from herself. And she's delivered. Turned it around from 4 years ago when she had to take second behind Kendall Gretsch. This time she wins it. And Shan Yi-Lin of China joins the medal party. Those medals to be awarded at a later ceremony. Congratulations to the three of them, Masters, Shan and Gretsch.
Second event of 6 on the opening day of Para-Biathlon at these 2022 Winter Paralympic Games. And it's the sprint event in the men's sitting category. Daniel Knossen, only 14th in Lillehammer, needs a big lift to defend his Pyeongchang title. We have 20 competitors on the start line here from 8 nations. Look deeper down the order and you find our potential medalists. Taras Rad, Vasil Kravchuk, real big favourites here. And Aaron Pike, the 35-year-old American partner of Oksana Masters. And what a day it could be for that duo. So first to go here from Kazakhstan. Sergei Asoltsev. So our starters going out at time intervals.
And Wang next to go for China.
Yep. So again, good Chinese representation in this men's sitting race. Xu, Wang, we've got Liu and Liu Jie to come. So wearing bib 29 from the strong Ukrainian delegation. This is Alexander Aleksik, just 17, and wants to put in a good show. He was 15th in this event in the recent world champs in Lillehammer cross-country skier as well. Of course, our athletes here will be competing in para-biathlon and the cross-country, which is to come a little later in these Paralympic Games.
Colin Cameron of Canada. In 30, got a good beard going. See if he can keep the ice out of it. The 33-year-old from Canmore, bronze in the relay 4 years ago.
Yeah, bib 31, and they're coming out of the start gate quick and fast now. This is Scott Mina, the 32-year-old Glaswegian. Big, burly, strong character, was earmarked for the para-rowing squad around about 7-8 years ago. He transferred his skill set to the para-biathlon and cross-country. 13th was his best showing in the para-biathlon 4 years ago in Pyeongchang. An 18th place in the sitting. Well, we're looking at Kamitov, the Kazakhstani Yerbal Kamitov, out on the course. 35-year-old Ukrainian Pavlo Bal. The Ukrainians have such a deep bench, as they say in basketball, in the para-biathlon, and are looking to hoover up medals here in Beijing. Next to go Liu Mengtao. Just 20, Liu, from the host nation. Again, he's been part of that intensive training camp up in the mountains. And looking to follow the lead from the women's race, where China were able to get on the podium. Now then, Daniel Knossen, can he upgrade his form from Lillehammer, just at 14th at the recent World Champs, and needs that big improvement to defend the title. 1 over 7.5 kilometers actually in Pyeongchang 4 years ago. Comes from Topeka in Kansas, 41 years young now. Daniel Knossen, he's had a long and hugely distinguished career. Likewise, this guy, Shin, from Korea. Shin A-hyun, another of the older guard, shall we say. Can teach the younger guns a thing or two at 41. So in cross-country sitting, he was a gold medalist in the middle distance event, and that was a hugely emotional return for him at home 4 years ago in Pyeongchang. But it's all happening out there on the track here at Zhangjiakou, and we're in the first shooting range. This is Zhu Yufeng wearing bib 23 for the Chinese.
And a couple of misses, well, 3 in fact for Zhu, so this is a big setback for him. And at the first stop, well, that's a scream of disappointment and frustration with himself.
Good start by Asultsev, who's shot clear in his first visit to the range. Kamitov in there, the second Brit in the event. Callum Du Bois as well gets into that prone position and gets the rifle tucked into the shoulder. So it's Asultsev, early leader, but expect to see those names and the yellow and blue of the Ukrainian flag, Rad and Kravchuk, getting in amongst it. Bal and Alexic too.
Well, Aaron Pike, along with Knossen, hoping to carry the US to some kind of result here. 35-year-old from Champaign, Illinois. It's a good name for a town. His 3rd Paralympic Winter Games. Had a 6th in the biathlon in the 15K in Pyeongchang.
So Vasil Kravchuk, silver medalist in the World Champs. So only one to come, and that's his compatriot Taras Rad to come next, but Kravchuk and Rad will be fighting it out, no question here, at the front end of this race. So Kravchuk from Lviv, silver medalist at the Worlds. Taras Rad had a fabulous games in Pyeongchang. He made his Winter Paralympic debut at the age of just 18 and got on the podium as well. Second games at just 22, and what a future he has ahead of him. Gold medalist in the middle distance event 4 years ago, the 12.5, just off the podium in this event, the 7.5 kilometre sprint. The distances have been altered slightly in between Pyeongchang and now.
So a couple of misses there for Wang. Usultov still with the time to beat through this stage, and still the breeze blowing strongly from the west. See those national flags in the background indicating what a challenge it is in the range. They've had time to set their sights before competition. Alexic, that's his name on the rifle. He's got his name on a miss, unfortunately. Two misses.
Difficult to make up.
It messes with the mind too. You know, have I still got a chance? How do I claw my way back from this? I know that there'll be competitors out there shooting clean.
Four from 5 for Cameron in his first visit to the range. The 33-year-old Colin Cameron. And he's been on the podium in both para-biathlon and cross-country at Pyeongchang in the open 4x2.5 kilometre relay. And this sprint event, Cameron was third 4 years ago, and in the 15K individual there was a bronze as well. There is a real depth of quality in this field.
A little bit of traffic coming in and out of the penalty loop there. You need to give way, or at least avoid a collision, as Bale comes in for Ukraine. Yurovyi with the best time exiting the range the first time, 6:38.7. So needs to get busy. Clock ticking away on the right. Sounded like it might have been. I mean, it didn't show up clearly as to what that final result was, but hear the wind whistling across the effects microphones in the range.
So Kravchuk and Rad wearing bib 40. Taras Rad, that middle distance, a champion para-biathlete from Pyeongchang, fourth in the other events. There he goes, great pace on him, the 22-year-olds. Incline after that sharp left-hander. And Shin in the range, already with one miss. Make that 2. That's a real shame for Shin. So 2 penalties after that first visit to the range.
Yeah, he's a bit of a star in Korea with his cross-country victory 4 years ago in Korea. But, a lot of these athletes are competing, obviously, in both disciplines, cross-country and biathlon. Makes for a busy program. Liu now.
Yep, getting prone. Is bib 37, Liu Zhi-shu. Liu, Wang, Liu and Zhu, 4 Chinese para biathletes in this particular event. You're watching the men's sprint sitting event, the second of 6 events on the opening day of the para biathlon competition at Beijing 2022.
Liu got that done very quickly, and he's going to exit the range in a very handy time. Now that they've got this facility, it's only going to be a matter of time, if not now, that we see China emerging as a biathlon and cross-country parasport nation. And Liu, 6:36, so he's got a couple of seconds up his sleeve. And that's a marvellous first lap and shoot. Pike now. Very good. Yeah, that's what you want.
From Pike. Well, they're surely confident of helping themselves to a good haul of medals here in Beijing. The US, the Nordic team made up of 6 women, 7 men, and 1 guide for the VI athletes. Taras Rad now a miss, and his first shot down into the range. Recovery shooting was there.
Well, an economical shoot in terms of time spent in the prone position, but another 100 meters to do. He's not completely out of it because he's very quick. He had some seconds up his sleeve as he took position on the mat.
Seems that Kravchuk has shot clean as well, so he's stolen a march here on Taras Rad as the world champs silver medalist Kravchuk. Zhu with 3 misses.
Total of 7 misses. This is a bad day with the rifle, unfortunately, for the Chinese competitor. A couple of his teammates, though, doing very nicely.
Yep. And so down in the range, that's Won, our second career Republic athlete in this race, and then
Wang Tao coming in.
Yep. The 25-year-old. Confirmation there, 4 misses for Kamitov, 3 for Zhu, and 1 for Won in his second visit to the range. So Wang missed twice on his first.
There's a range of breathing patterns there. It's really interesting to watch. He either took 1 or 3 breaths between shots, but gets it done well.
So Shin A-hyun riding with now wearing bib 35, 41 years young, but he's had a stellar career. He really has. Would love to get amongst the Winter Paralympic medals in biathlon. 3 fifth-place finishes in the individual, the middle, and this sprint event 4 years ago. It was in the cross-country where he really brought the house down at home in Pyeongchang. A 2-time bronze medalist at the World Champs in para biathlon. You see the flags ripping around there. Gives you an idea of how difficult it is. And indeed, those targets you see to the right of your picture, 10 meters away from the shooting range. But although the distance between shooter and target is reduced from the Winter Games events, 10 meters, there's still 10 meters, isn't it? There's enough
and
wind can swirl around inside there and take your shot off course.
If it was easy, they wouldn't be missing any. Alexic now. Missed 4 in total, 2 on this visit. So another couple of 100 metres to ski in the loop. As also comes in Pavlo Bal of Ukraine. 32 out on the course in 40 is Taras Rad. So 20 seconds behind Liu.
Yeah.
It's just such a bonus to get you 5 from 5. Takes a nice tight line on that left-hander though.
Needs to pick it up. So it's the still young gun. He was even younger in Pyeongchang. Announced himself as a real star and one for the future in this sport. Closing ceremony flag bearer as well in 2018 was Taras Rad. This is where it all gets very, very interesting indeed. Exiting the range, that's Knossen wearing bib 34. And now Liu gets low. So one miss in the first visit to the range, Liu Mengtao, the 20-year-old.
Liu Zishu, Liu Mengtao, just to confuse us a little. We got them sorted here.
Yeah, it's Zishu at the range, isn't it? Liu
Yep.
Zishu, he's shot clean. 5 from 5. Great shooting. And then 37, that's Liu coming out of the range, and then bib 35, Shin, after 5 misses all told. And that's extra energy, that's extra power he needs to find to overcompensate for the extra meters forced to ski because of the misses in the range.
Liu Zishu has put himself into a potential high place finish. Flag of Germany. Missed 1 on the first visit, but not the second.
Yeah, Flag, a 32-year-old, the long-distance champion from Pyeongchang, by the way, the German, Martin Flag. Now, Pike, his second visit to the shooting range. Shot clean on his first.
He's having a little bit of trouble settling. See how efficiently the next cartridge is loaded in. One quick flick. Oh, missed though for Pike.
Well, that's a problem for him. And then Rad, hot on his heels. Rad, he was clean on his second visit to the range. Now, that was absolutely critical. So, Kravchuk, 2 misses, absolute nightmare. Oh, 3 misses for Kravchuk.
Oh, that's him potentially out of the frame for medals.
It really is. And he would have been hopeful, certainly, for a medal here. Gunning for gold, potentially. Kravchuk, the world champs silver medalist, actually beat Taras Rad in Lillehammer 8 weeks ago. But that's a disastrous second visit to the range. So a massive opportunity here for Rad to push on. And the door left open as well for Knossen.
Yeah.
Liu and Wang 1 and 3 at present for China.
He manages that climb and then hard into a left-hander. The body's aching and you've got to keep control for the tight bend that then it's quickly into a descent. They throw everything at you on this course. But Liu doing a great job for China. That's at the second shoot. Liu Zishu from Xi'an. This is where it can also get tricky when 3 or 4 skiers find themselves together, making sure you've got clear snow in front and around you. Liu. Well, 1 gold medal in Pyeongchang, and that was in curling. And they're really starting to come through. It's clear from their form at Zhangjiakou that they've been training well and they've been well coached. Plenty of time in the range, plenty of time to get used to these conditions.
Bit of a correction. He just about kept it together there, Liu. I thought he was going to overcook it and end up on his side.
Just doesn't get down into the most efficient position, really, and had an opportunity to tuck down and get low. But the mind and body, you understand if they're tiring, but he's giving it everything.
Lovely shot down the course there. So Liu being chased down. That's Alexic behind him. Those skis are clipped to the bottom of the chair, the fixed seats, and the athletes help design the entire apparatus here. As long as you keep it within, of course, race guidelines. The equipment is tailored to each individual athlete's specific capability. They're involved in the development of the equipment.
1933 is the finish time to beat at the moment. Lu Mengtao of China has that time, and Wang Tao and Colin Cameron of Canada. But these times are going to change.
Well, Knossen 4th, and he's going to be lifting past 4th into
Liu.
something approaching 2nd place, I think, here as well.
So Liu is going to come in and displace his namesake. As Liu Zishu crosses in 18:51.5, and he's 42 seconds ahead of Liu Mingtao. Well, this would be a turn up. But 10 out of 10 with a rifle, and that does you a huge favour. Knossen still out on the course. At the moment, it's China 1-2.
And after Shan Yilin silver in the women's sprint, this could be a quite phenomenal morning for the host nation at the Zhangjiakou National Biathlon Centre. But still, plenty of racing to be done here. But it's going to be so tight coming up to the line. Kravchuk, big surprise. And that's left the door open for Taras Rad here. One miss in the first visit to the range.
Coming down, 18:51.5 to beat. He's at 18:30 almost. He's got to give it everything here, Rad. Is he going to run out of seconds? He's not going to run out of desire.
Well, Taras Rad giving it everything coming up to the line. The middle distance champion from Alpenzia 4 years ago. So outside of Liu's time of 18:51. Big stories being written out on the course here at Zhangjiakou on the opening morning of Para Biathlon at Beijing 2022.
So he's 17 seconds outside the gold medal place, held at the moment by Liu Zishu. And give each other the little fist bump. That was Liu Mingtao in 33.
So Liu, Rad And in third place, Liu Mengtao at present. And they wait and wonder. Pike and Kravchuk still to finish.
Some serious leaning into the curve. Make sure you don't lose it, back into the tracks again. And serious focus. They're not telescopic lenses, telescopic sights on these rifles. Great job done so far. Liu Zishu, he'll have other events to come. But this would be a little piece of Paralympic Winter Games history if he holds on.
So we're waiting for Kravchuk, but Liu and Liu, with Rad splitting the two Chinese athletes. Wow.
Gnossen's just finished out of the medals. He's fourth.
Yeah, he's come in 102 down on Liu Zishu.
Yeah, we've got Liu Zishu and Liu Mengtao, 1 and 3, split by Taras Rad.
So here's Kravchuk, our last finisher. And after Cameron's time there.
Yeah, so he's well outside the top 5 is Kravchuk. He's come down to the line, so the top 3 aren't going to be disturbed. Well, what a day. What a story.
What? Well, incredible. Plenty was made of their high intensity training up in the mountains, the Chinese para-biathlon squad. And as Kravchuk gives a little wave to the camera, that hard work is paying off when it matters on race day. In the women's event and here in the men's sprint sitting, the host nation, China, are absolutely dominant. 2 of their athletes on the podium. Liu Zishu with the gold medal, and bib 33, Liu Mengtao with the bronze. In between them, that's the Ukrainian Taras Rad. Great racing.
Well, it's already a well-told story how challenging it was for the Ukraine team to get here. The head of delegation said, just give us 24 hours and we will rise like a phoenix. And Taras Rad has performed wonderfully well to come in second, to split the 2 Chinese competitors, Liu Zishu and Liu Mengtao. But to get a first and a third when they've never medaled before in para-biathlon, or cross-country for that matter, there's a lot going on at this new facility.
There really is. And what more can be achieved over this week of racing in the cross-country and the biathlon? Absolutely brilliant. China 1 and 3 with Liu Zishu and Liu Mengtao. Taras Rad, silver medal here for the middle distance champion from Pyeongchang 4 years ago. A little further down the order, Shin unable to replicate his cross-country heroics from Pyeongchang, finishes in 12th place. Yarovi Bao and Alexei Kravchuk as well, finishing outside the medals. Rad for Ukraine, though, with the silver. China having a fabulous day on the first day of the para-biathlon here at Beijing 2022.
Conditions look a little more benign than they really are. The testing wind, especially in the range, has sorted out a few competitors. Shortly, we should have a recognition ceremony for our place getters. I hope you can stand by for that. come the athletes. Someone giving Liu Zixu a big hug before he makes his way out for this little recognition ceremony, which is a nice touch. Medals will come at a future time, but right now, there's no denying this is an historic day for China in a sport where they've not enjoyed medal success before. They're picking up 2 here, gold and bronze, but let's just recognize the placings for the moment and realize what's happened here.
Absolutely. China ripping up the form book on day 1 of the Nordic events at these Winter Paralympic Games. So we see the man in the middle there, the main man, Liu Zixu, gold medal champion, and then to his left, Liu Mengtao, the bronze.
Yes, he's 20 years of age from Mandan.
.41 seconds down when all was calculated behind our victor. Taras Rad has come second here, silver medal for the 22-year-old, another Winter Paralympic medal after his middle distance gold from Pyeongchang.
Rad's 1 miss and only 17.5 seconds behind Liu Zixu. Realize how important that is. And Liu Zixu, well, he can be around for a while if he wants to at 24. Peak sometimes in the late 20s, early 30s.
Fantastic performance and such composure on both visits to the shooting range as well. He didn't miss a shot, he didn't miss a trick all race. And this is the gold medalist in the men's sprint sitting event here on the first day up in the mountains. And what a day China have had already. 2 races in. Women's silver medalist in the sitting and 2 on the podium in the men's. And Liu Mengtao with the bronze and Liu Zixu there wearing 37. Our brilliant champion.
Taras Rad well rugged up and a good second place. It's pretty chilly at Zhangjiakou. Shui Rongrong, the mascot for these Paralympic Winter Games, resembling a lantern. Good racing already at Zhangjiakou. So a good scene up in the mountains at Zhangjiakou. Good racing in biathlon and more to come. We hope you'll stay with us for the Games of Beijing 2022.